Here's the outline of what I want to cover to teach Google Ads. First off, being unit economics. So what I did here is I'm basically trying to see how much net profit each lead and each customer bring a client based on their location and mostly their niche. So I just get these numbers from ChatGPT, fill them in, do the formulas. And what I'm trying to avoid is clients whose average performance, their niche, the average performance would not be profitable based on these estimates. I didn't really care to get too accurate. I just wanted a ballpark figure. What you can see is um, there's not very high expectations for a lot of these niches, right? So like roofing worked and SaaS worked, but the rest of them, my expectations are actually negative. And this is even before my fee is involved. It's just based on their ability to close, the repeat purchase rate, and the net profit percentage, and the cost of the lead. Purely being an average marketer would not be profitable for these niches. So that helps me make decisions like, okay, I'm just going to leave these people alone and stick with these people who are expected to make a profit. And then me as the ads strategist, I would charge, I have the option of then charging them a percentage of what their expected net profit would be from each customer. So that just helps me get away from a lot of confusion or distractions about who I work with and what it's worth to them. Because I don't want to basically paint myself into a corner and step into an impossible situation where I'm fighting against the average math. Because a lot of these people, okay, you could assume, hey, maybe they are above average, but if they were, maybe they wouldn't need ads and more leads anyway, right? They'd already be doing well. So I just don't like to, basically bet against gravity. This is the momentum, and that's where I like to start. Okay, so that's the first unit of what I wanted to look at. The second one is conversion tracking. So this is a big problem because most ad agencies can't do it. Um, Partially because they can't code and they're just not that technical. But basically, without conversion tracking, you're gambling and you're guessing because you aren't able to report back on what was a successful, lead. So this is something I'm going to be setting up probably for every client. I just don't trust anybody to do it as good as me yet. And I don't know many people that are good at it. Obviously, I could teach it, right? So it'll probably be involved. Um, but this is also something I have templates for it, but really it's a website specific thing, right? Every website has a different structure, so you have to customize it to that website's, forms, triggers, the link, the button click triggers, all those things. Third is campaign settings. So for over a year, these are things I've been tracking that turning them on or off makes the campaign perform better or worse depending on what you're doing. And what I know is that you don't want to basically accept all the auto suggestions from Google. You have to learn through experience and see what works and brings you in better leads at better cost. Copywriting and creative visuals. So these are the words you use, and this is the imagery, if any you use, photos, videos. And these are very powerful, but for me, I look at these last. For a lot of Facebook advertisers, they actually start testing these first, and they don't do much targeting, which I guess can work from a consumer product standpoint. But for me in Google Ads, I'm not strong as a I'm not the strongest person with visuals and images and videos, nor am I a pro copywriter. I'm okay, but for me, I don't want to optimize these for a low value opportunity ad, right? I want to get all this other stuff right first, figure out where the demand already is, and then when I have nothing else technical left to do, then I think, okay, now let me add fuel to the fire with enhanced copywriting, better visuals. Maybe those are things I would hire out, better videos, better images, assuming the client didn't have any of their own that they wanted to use. And that's how I think about it, because if I get lost in the weeds with these things, I will miss sight of all these other things that are high leverage and low effort. And I consider these things to be very high effort, even with AI, which I probably will eventually come up with a workflow for these to automate it, automate and test and update, respond to the performance. This is still not low effort. Okay. So the other thing is keyword adjustment. So I've automated to get reports, and this has helped me see, hey, how are the keywords performing? Are they profitable? Do some of them need to be paused? Are we showing up for the right terms? Um, I should probably also add search terms. So search terms are what people actually type in. Keywords are the words you're trying to get clicks for. So you're hoping that the search terms are related to your keyword in your business. And if not, you basically have to manage and prune those bad search terms. So reporting, this is very important. I realized even as a solo operator, reporting can be very clunky inside of Google Ads. So what I've done is automate the reports to come to my email, and I've used an API to basically do the analysis for me. So I don't have to spend 10, 15, 20 minutes analyzing the sheet. The basics are pulled out. I see if the gist makes sense. Then I can click through to the report, see it myself, go into Google Ads and make the edits I need to make, and that can be done in 5-10 minutes per client, right? So that's pretty good aspect of reporting automations. Although my reportings are automated, really there's multiple automations. So let me just actually put this. Let's put this. Let's put reporting under automations. And those will be things like your reporting or your new lead notification to the client. Those type of things. New lead welcome sequence emails. New lead welcome sequence emails. If the client paid for that, right? You could have this automated where, hi, welcome to such and such. Thanks for signing up. Here's what you can expect. And then you can have these show, 1 day, 7 days out. Reminder emails, reminder texts, the day of, those type of things. But all of these things are the things you want to automate. So the reporting analysis you can automate. Notifications you can automate. Welcome sequence emails and texts you can automate. Those are all things I'm technical enough to do them. But if you're not, you're going to want to pay someone to do them because they save you lots of time. They're high leverage, high value things to have. The next is integration. So this is where, does your ads connect with other tools, right? So that would be your customer relationship management software, your CRM. I know I have clients who have CRMs that don't integrate with anything. They're purely based on their computer. They don't connect to the internet or any other tools. These are very bad because you don't get to report easily back to Google your offline conversions, meaning actual purchases as opposed to just leads, right? So Google won't get the signal of, hey, people might click on this or fill out this form for this or for that, but they're actually buying this other thing, right? And that will help Google steer your ads towards where the actual money is being made. So integrations are very important. Never ever get a CRM that doesn't connect to, other tools than the internet that can't be used, that doesn't have an API. Scaling is important, because you have to have a pathway for growing the budget, right, over time. Meaning, we don't want to stay at one fixed budget. Once we figure out what's working and what's profitable, we want to do more and more and more and more and more of that to grow the business, right? As long as it's got a positive ROI, you should have a framework for growing your budget. Okay, ads. Um, thing about your ads is you don't, especially for people with multiple offers, you really want to figure out which offer has the most demand, is going to be the most profitable on Google Ads. You don't necessarily want to run ads for every offer you have. Some of them might not do well because remember, Google search ads are limited to search volume, right? So if there's not a lot of people searching for your thing, you're going to have an uphill battle for ads. And so you may need to only run ads on your offer with the most demand and then upsell people to your other offers once they get in there. That's to be more basically cost efficient. Keywords. Just like not all ad offers are, created equal in terms of the market fit, not all keywords are created equal. You have search intent, right? I'm sorry, purchase intent. Then you have informational, or like transactional comparison. Those type of things, you want to know what kind of keywords you're targeting and why, right? So in the psychology, the intent, the query interpretation, you want to know all of these things. So I think the other one was transactional. Right. So don't treat your keywords like they're all the same category. Some of them are going to be much more valuable to you than others. Match types and search terms mastery. So match types, you have phrase, broad, exact. Now phrase and broad I think have kind of melded into one. Basically, it's an approximation. Phrase is more like contains these words somewhere in the search term. Broad is like contains these words. I think phrase is like contains these words in this specific order, whereas broad is like could contain any of these words in any order. And then exact is like contains this specific phrase. Now, exact's not so much exact anymore because now I guess the AI is interpreting if it's close enough. Same meaning, right? It's not exactly the same word, but if it has the same basic meaning, then it'll show up. CRO, which is conversion rate optimization, meaning to increase the number of leads you're getting, things that increase the number of leads. Landing page is definitely a big factor in your conversion rate. The better your landing page is designed, the more leads you're going to get. Quality score and ad rank levers. Quality score is about like relevance of your page, probably some performance of your page, and that affects the ad rank, which affects your costs and your ad performance. So the better quality score, the better your ad rank, and the lower your cost you spend. Also, probably the higher you can show up, because Google's trying to match ads and landing pages that are the highest relevance. Competitive intelligence. So in Google Ads, it has something called an auction, and you can see, in an auction insights, who else is competing with you for your group of keywords, right, in your same location, etc. So given that, you can use things like the Google Ads Transparency Center to look up those competitors and see what their ads look like and why they're performing so well. There's also other tools like Ad Spy, maybe like Spy Food, etc. But these are things that you're gonna want to work on. I would say after all the technical stuff, let's add these under CRO. After all the technical stuff is done, your settings, your reporting, your analysis, your integration, your scaling, your keywords, right? After all that, your CRO is probably what I want to work on once I've nailed that I've got the correct offer with the correct keywords and the correct settings, right? So where was this? Let's put this under here. And so we got 10 main sections here at this point. Your structure basically goes like this. Campaign is, or account is at the top. That's the company. Then there's the campaign, which is the type of ad you're running, right? Then there's the, I guess not the type, the type of campaigns, like how you are going about running your ads. Then the ad groups, which some of these campaigns have, is the collection of keywords. It's all the keywords go to this one ad group, or each ad group has a set of keywords and one landing page, right? And then under the ad groups are the specific ads you're running, right? The ads that have certain copy. Each ad has its own copy, its own image, and its own URL, right? Well, actually, the URL lives at the ad group level, I believe. Copy, let's not say images, let's say visuals, creatives, videos, and pictures. So this is a landing page URL. And within this are campaign settings, right? Like, are you gonna have calls? Are you gonna have forms? What's your bid strategy? Right? What's your your conversion? I think that's the bid strategy. Are you doing max conversions, max clicks? You can say conversions, clicks, etc. So all these things you're gonna have to track clicks. You're gonna have to decide on, and that's where the experience comes in. You gotta say, what is the net profit per lead? Now, for your unit economics, you could mention also the net profit per customer and bill based on that. The issue is, once you start going beyond leads into customers, leads from your ads is something you can track. By the way, you have to define what is a qualified lead, right? Because they won't want to pay you. They won't want to pay you for bad leads. So you have to agree up front what is a qualified lead, how you track that. To me, the safest thing is a form, right? If we're looking for certain information to define qualifications, and we capture that information in a form, I think everyone can agree that's a qualified lead. Calls are a little trickier. You can use CallRail and record the calls, but I think in that case, the client's staff, whoever's on the phone, is going to have to ask the qualifying questions on the call so that the marketer, the ad strategist, can hear whether or not the replies indicate the person was qualified. Otherwise, the market has to put a lot of trust and take people's word for it, and everyone has the incentive to minimize the number of qualified leads because it's going to minimize their costs, right? Although in the long run, probably it'll mess up their optimization when an ads manager says, oh, this isn't working, let me turn it off. It'll probably bring them less leads and raise their costs. But in the short term, they may feel that they're saving on advertiser fees or ad management fees. So net profit for customer, you would need CRM access for this, because you won't know who's actually became a customer unless you have a tool like CallRail, which is not technically a CRM, but people can use it like a CRM, and they leave notes saying, hey, this person actually paid. Okay, so this is kind of what we're dealing with. Let's put this here. Okay. Yeah, this is a kind of like overall structure. I wanted you to watch this and tell me what you thought, if you had any questions, if it makes sense to you, and think of it from a business owner's perspective. If I presented this to you as a package that I was delivering for you, what questions would you have, and what would be most valuable to you? So hope that helps.